Hi, everybody. So I wanted to share something with you that came up for one of my Inner Circle members who attended my large audience event at the Berman Center in Detroit the other night. And this is something that comes up for a lot of people. And honestly, it came up for me quite a bit in my beginning years of doing this work. And that is, how do you walk out of an experience where you have a really miraculous connection, where you know from the bottom of your heart and soul that this is real. You made contact with your departed loved one, angels and guides. It was a very profound healing experience for you. And then you walk out of that experience, whether it's a private reading, a small group reading, or a large audience event, you go into the outside world and you try and share that and communicate it in a way that's equally as meaningful to the people around you. And they just don't get it. Not only do they not get it, but they poo-poo it. And it makes you start to feel resistant and frustrated and it kind of just deflated, as this client actually said. So she said she was so grateful and it was such a moving experience for her. And she left feeling like she was floating and so fulfilled and relieved to know her parents were with her. She goes home and shares it with her husband, who's a complete skeptic, and she was so frustrated that he couldn't get behind it and feel what she was feeling. And even if he didn't want to believe, that he couldn't support the fact that she does. And so she's feeling confused and deflated. So this is a very common experience. And oftentimes at the end of my events, I will address this because it comes up so much. Because when you're in the moment and you're in that experience, it's a very inclusive experience with all the people around you because you're all witnessing the miracles. And you know how they say it's not what people say or do, but it's how they make you feel that matters. And that's what we remember. Well, that's a perfect way to sum this up. It's the feeling you get. It's the knowing on a soul level that the experience was authentic and whatever you heard was so validating, and more importantly, whatever you felt like truth. It's very hard to get someone else who's on the outside to get on board and feel that same feeling unless they were a part of it with you, or unless they're already open and believing. Okay, so my advice to her, this woman, or anybody else would be, just accept the fact that it doesn't really matter what anybody else says or thinks or where they're at on their path of faith and belief. All that matters is where you're at. And your feelings are your guidance. They are your truth. And if you know that whatever you experienced felt authentic, then believe it. Your mind will absolutely try and talk you out of it. A few days, a few weeks, a few months after the experience, you might go into doubt. That's common. And you know what? It's just part of the human experience. But the mind creates the illusion, okay? It out of fear. It's feeling threatened on some level. So what you have to go back to is your heart, because again, your heart is where your truth lies. And try and take yourself back into that experience and feel if it was truth or not for you. And don't worry about where someone else is at. I know it makes complete sense why you would want your partner or your family and friends to be on the same page with you. But the truth is, everyone's at their own place on their journey. And your only job is to live your truth and be the example of what it looks like to have faith and align with your higher self and your higher knowing. And that's what it means to be the light. And you show them the possibility, right? So all you can do is model what that looks like and pray for their highest truth and their highest healing. And hopefully one day at some point they'll get on board with you. And if not, that's okay too. So I hope that helps give you a little bit of clarity and just reminds you not to give your power away, and don't let someone else contaminate your own miraculous experiences, whatever they are. Keep trusting your signs, trusting your vibes. As always, I'm wishing you brightest blessings and all love.